Hey, hey, what's going on? You'll notice it's just me tonight. That means it's gonna be a short show. We got no flip tonight. I'm kind of sad about that. Sorry, opening my water. It's a little loud. No flip. Flip is not doing too hot tonight. He is deciding to take a night off, but that means we're gonna be coming back strong next week. Let me fix this. Both of us will be here next Tuesday, absolutely. So I'm gonna have a talk with just everybody by myself this week. What's going on, Josephine? Watched Audition, one of my favorites. Incredible movie. Love that one. Ice is here. What's going on, buddy? I still need to post what you sent me just a little while ago. Antoine, hey, hey. Food for thought. Good evening. I'm eating for both of us tonight. No flip. I'm still the size of both of us, so that helps. Josephine just saw Triangle of Sadness. Nice. I'm dying to see that, especially after how much Sean Baker's been, raving about it. What's going on, Courtney? Good to see you. Hey, Sardis, bud. Hope you're having a good day. I know it was a rough weekend, but hope you're doing better. So I want to check in on my October watch along. I wanted to check in and gauge what everybody's feeling about the industry as a whole right now. It's been kind of quiet on that front, and maybe just give some interesting commentary to some things that have been going on around for a little while now, and maybe just do a small check-in on my channel itself, because have not done that for quite some time. So on that front, I will say, since this was unplanned, do I need to hide the shirt? Because I know there's some nipples on it, I think, right? I've totally forgot all about that. Oops. If anybody has any questions for me, or for what I do on my channel, or for the interviews or anything like that, drop them in the comments. We'll do this as sort of a impromptu Q&A. So let me know if you got anything in mind. Let's see. Brent finally watched Barbarian. Nice. I need to rewatch it, and I am stoked to see it again. I'm curious how it's going to hold up on a rewatch. I know for a lot of us that saw it for the first time without any spoilers, I am totally curious to see what it's going to be like on rewatch. Foo has managed to watch 34 for Foo. That is great. That is great. Congrats, my friend. I'm curious, what are the top 3 that you've watched so far? Let me know. That's 34. What are the top 3? Cam's here tonight. What's going on, buddy? Oh, no. My sister has a question. When are you moving to Venus so we can make 1,000 videos together? Well, thankfully, they have this thing called the internet, so we can do videos from afar, too. So, yeah, we need to make them. That's the big question, is when can we make them? Horrific number. Let's see. I says, just want to say I appreciate the interview. Listen to them on my train rides. That's awesome. I'm glad I can be with you. It's really cool to know. And yes, I agree. I would love to do more in-person videos. It's kind of hard when you have the perfect chemistry with your sister and 950 miles separates you. It's difficult. Dave says, received multiple orders over the weekend. Count Yorga, Return of the Living Dead, and a few from Scream. I'm really curious about that Count Yorga to see if it's worth it. I know that those have been put out multiple times at this point. I just realized I left my watch list completely out of reach. Let me see if I can grab it without disrupting everything. Hi, that's my forehead. You can see the new haircut. Foo says top 4. Can't wait to hear those. Yeah, Count Yorga. The first one is pretty damn good. I don't remember if I've seen the second one, which is kind of troubling for me. I would love to see it, but at the same time, I want to rewatch the first one. Yes, Dave, I apologize. We are flipless tonight. Flip's not doing too hot. He's fine health-wise. Just needs a little mental break. We're gonna be back at it next week, I promise. I'm not even fine as I'm coughing. I need a bunch of water. Top 3 this month are Lords of Salem, Halloween 2, and Body. Man, 3 that I've been championing championing for you and everybody on the Discord. That is so incredible to see. Okay. Lords of Salem, Halloween 2, both from Rob Zombie, and Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. 3 of the best films that you have watched, and that is amazing to hear. I love all 3 of those movies. Sorry, by Fur, you just got to deal with me. No flip. Let's see. Sardis got notice of one title from Shout Order coming your way. I got a title from Shout In, and they never even emailed me. It was the weirdest thing. They always do, and they didn't this time. All right, my watch list for the month. Going to check in on a few of those. We watched. What is the next one we watched? My Patreon. We all did a watch along on the Toxic Avenger on Sunday. That movie holds up like crazy. So much fun. Really, what is the best word? Problematic is probably the easiest way to say it, but oh my God, not politically correct in some of the best ways. It is a great movie, really silly, obviously, but for anybody who has not watched The Toxic Avenger either ever or in a long time, revisit it. It holds up pretty damn well. It's fun. Next one to talk about, Nurse 3D. This was my first watch. This one is from 2013. This one is hard because I don't think it was particularly well written, but I do think that it was at least an enjoyable watch. I think that the acting was pretty atrocious for our lead, and that kind of stinks because I know Katrina Bowden is in it, and she's decent. She was big in 30 Rock. Yeah, an odd movie where they tried to twist too many things when they didn't need to, but it was at least a compelling story. Excuse me, coughing a lot. I'm gonna put a cough drop in my mouth. Certainly not a believable story though. If that's your thing, Nurse 3D is incredibly unbelievable. Actually, anybody else seen that one and have an opinion? Because I thought it was pretty rough compared to a lot of the other ones I've seen this month. It's definitely on my lower third. Let's see. We also watched Only Lovers Left Alive. That was an interesting Jim Jarmusch. I don't always love Jim Jarmusch. In fact, I pretty much usually don't like him, but it was decent. Decent writing, nice story, great cast, obviously. A lot of Avengers in that movie, basically. But yeah, pretty unique vampire story that they don't ever say vampire in the entire thing. Fu says some great nudity in Nurse 3D. I mean, it was all right. I don't know. I feel like it could have been so much better. If we got Katrina Bowden, I'd say it was great, but wonder whatever happened to the nurse in that movie. She was also in Boardwalk Empire and just disappeared. She was in something else too that I looked up. I don't remember now. Not a great movie though. I was really hoping for better. Only Lovers Left Alive. Forget I was talking about that. Stan loves Jim Jarmusch. I don't get him. Maybe that could be my problem. I'm very coffee tonight. That's odd. Let's see. Got to make up for crappy writing and acting somehow. This is true. John Peters is here too. What's going on, John? For everybody that sees John in the chat all the time, John is going to be the guest for Reconnected on Thursday. There's one title I also watched in the last couple weeks that I'm not mentioning right now because we're going to give a deep dive to it on Thursday. Come back and hang out. Thursday is going to be a lot of fun. Let's see. I know we watched at least one more that we haven't talked about. It wasn't on the list, but I just gave a rewatch to The Babadook. The Babadook. This seems to be a divisive movie. What's everybody's thoughts on The Babadook in the chat right now? That is from 2014 from Jennifer Kent. The grief-stricken film, I believe set in Australia. Really, really well done in my opinion. Beautifully filmed. Nice, like modern gothic feeling. But The Babadook is something special. And I finally saw the Second Sight 4K, and I think it was incredible. I've not seen it in probably 2 or 3 years, and this is one I've rewatched a few times. Or no, it's been more than 2 or 3 years. It's probably let's see, it's probably been about 5 years at this point. And I've got an interesting take on the Babadook because a lot of people hate that movie because of the child in the Babadook, and he screams a lot. He is most likely portraying somebody on the spectrum. It's not something that's ever confirmed in the film, but it is a really, really great horror film that is portraying a lot of different things. And how much to dive into this right now? Being a father of two kids that are on the spectrum myself, and my oldest also has ADHD. I think that The Babadook is one of the most realistic movies of parenting a kid with special needs. I got to be honest. Not that my kids are as bad as the kid in the Babadook, or as, I won't even say as bad, but perhaps as extreme or on that part of the spectrum as the child in the Babadook. It's genuinely pretty on the nose about the way that they show behavioral health, the way that they show burnout for parents of kids with special needs. It is not something that's easy to portray. And I got to be honest, it is a masterpiece of a movie, in my opinion, especially after looking at life as a parent of two special needs kids now, and looking back with that, I don't know, looking back with that hindsight when it first came out. Like, I liked it back then because it was it's well acted, obviously, but I certainly felt like there was something off back then. And nowadays, I don't know, it jumps up there for me for having this new context. And I do hope more people give it a shot. And now that it's, I couldn't believe that it was 2014. I thought it was 2015 or 16, maybe even 17. And then I realized the last time I watched this, my oldest kid was like a year old, and that was a rewatch. So yeah, it's been a long time. I'm kind of shocked it's almost been a decade for that movie. It's crazy. Stan says, I think he's a wonderful, non-precocious young actor, and he kills it in that movie. He nails his lines. He's got this genuine personality that sticks throughout the entire film, and a lot of young child actors can't do that. And this kid probably just gave it his all. I love this movie on rewatch. It was so damn good. Let's see. Planet Mondo, Babadook was all right. Not as good as people claim it to be, though. A24 does a better job of those art house horrors. To a point. I think obviously A24 is not the first one to do art house horror. I do think that there are other places that are still churning out good art house horror. In fact, here's a great one. Food for Thought says It Follows. That movie is incredible. Genuinely a really great movie. But yeah, with the Babadook, there's so much that has come attached with that, and the fact that it's a female director, some people are put off by that. I don't really understand it. That doesn't really come up through the movie for me, in my opinion. I mean, if anything, it makes the mother in the movie more relatable, and that should mean it's a good thing, not a bad thing. So don't necessarily love that part. Dave says, I think a lot of horror movies these last 5 to 10 years are divisive for some reason. Stories, writing, acting, expectations, or anonymity of social media, allowing some to bitch for no reason. That last part is definitely a big part of it. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people are bitching just to be able to bitch and be heard. And that's never a good thing. Mondo follows up, says, I meant A24 and Neon are the two mainstream companies that back art house horrors for sure. Men is still my favorite. I've still not been able to watch Men. I need to. I know I need to. I definitely will watch that before the end of the year. I think my sister, she's still here. Courtney, I feel like you liked Men a little bit. That's an odd sentence. Why did they name the movie Men? I apologize, Sardis. This has been a month of everyone talking about movies I haven't seen or heard. Be glad when it's over. I know everyone enjoys these movies but can't get into it. I get that. And Mondo, definitely those companies are mainstream nowadays. I mean, Neon's putting out films that are huge and re-releasing films that are huge as well, buying rights for stuff to go out. Yeah, and A24, they are absolutely mainstream at this point. I mean, the films that they're putting out, even the non-horror, they're getting massive releases, and one of their films has won best picture Oscar. So yeah, they are absolutely mainstream. Let's see. My sister says I did like Men, weird as fuck, but I liked it. John says I like Men too, but not in that way. Dude, please watch Men. You'll either love it or hate it. I have a feeling you'd like it though if you're open-minded. Of course I'm open-minded. And I love body horror. So yeah, can't wait to see it. Stan also hasn't had the chance to watch Men, very much anticipating it. I have it. I just need to get to it. I feel like I'll like it even more with the second watch after fully understanding it. It's great. They they passed out condom helmets at the theater. Wow. Second run film, Sardis. I believe I'm gonna be getting that trilogy I told you about for sure. Okay, so it follows and the Babadook. We were talking about those a moment ago. I just wanted to highlight, if you've never seen the Babadook or it's been a long time, go back and revisit it because it's absolutely worth the rewatch. I think that it's important in today's day and age, and those that are patrons already know what I'm talking about when I say this. But I've got an upcoming video, and one of the main reasons I watched the Babadook was to confirm my feeling that I had about the way that these children are portrayed in that film. So yeah, got another conversational video coming out in just a couple weeks, and I wanted to sort of watch that movie as research. It's great. Men has a scene that would make Cronenberg cover his eyes. God dang. And Possessor 2, that deserves a mention. No one ever talks about it. It's a great movie. Possessor is great. Really great sci-fi body horror. Gets back to the roots of his dad for sure. I mean, Cronenberg's like Videodrome, and I mean, even obviously The Fly kind of goes there, but when you get body horror and sci-fi to cross in the right way, it works so well. When it crosses in a way that they're kind of forcing it, I feel like, and I may piss some people off with this, but I feel like that's where we get the films that like Cronenberg put out this year. Crimes of the Future, I did not love. I really thought that it was just not great. I feel like he thought of some effects and had to find a plot to put them in. So yeah, I feel like they found a cross section of sci-fi and body horror that was just sort of pandering. But Possessor is where it's at for sure. And yeah, the upcoming Brandon Cronenberg film sounds incredible. I need to watch Antiviral. Anybody else seen Antiviral? Stan Geezy said that it should be checked out. Antiviral is, I believe, the first Brandon Cronenberg film. I've never seen it. Heard that it's great. Didn't love Crimes of the Future. Blasphemy. How's that blasphemy? There's no plot there, Stan. Come on. Video Man in liked Crimes of the Future, reminded him of Existence and Naked Lunch. The effects, sure, but at least those other, well, Existence especially. Wow, those are hard words to say back to back. Existence especially had a much better plot. Naked Lunch, a little LSD heavy. Yeah, that Possessor 4K is really great. Let's shift gears off of body horror and talk about the hobby in general. How's everybody feeling? Because I feel like 6 to 8 months ago, we were having this big debate about film fans versus collectors, and I was trying to share with everybody how those can cross paths, and how, especially for me, that defines basically everything about me. We don't need to look down on people for being film fans. We don't need to look down on people for being collectors. We can all be either one or none or both. It's totally okay. I enjoy physical media so much that I seek out what I love on physical media, and I also blind buy a lot of physical media. Doesn't make me wrong or bad or anything, but there are a lot of tendencies in this hobby right now that is definitely highlighting some of what could be looked at as the toxic side of collecting. People focusing too much on spine numbers, buying everything from a label just because a label puts it out. not watching films that they buy, or people putting down other people for what they're collecting, for sure. I personally, I am a completist collector of quite a few things. I've got all of the Vinegar Syndrome releases. I've got all of the Scream Factory releases. I've got all of the Draft House films. I've got all of Imprint, and that's a lot. But I do try to watch as much as I possibly can. It has become very difficult with what is going on with this channel. All of these interviews have been taking all of my time. I am booked out on interviews for the next like 50 days. Crazy enough. I don't even know when I'm going to be releasing all of them. It's a very interesting time on that front. But I do think that watching films is important so that you can keep yourself in check. Make sure that you're doing what you're doing for a reason and not just to have plastic in your house, basically. I think blind buying is important. I will stand by that, actually. I think blind buying is something that can broaden your horizons. It can teach you new cultures. It can bring you information that you never even knew about. But then you got to make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. You got to make sure that you are doing it the right way, not going into crazy debt, not doing it to keep up with a friend online or anything like that. Just make sure you're taking care of yourself while you're doing it, and everything else should be okay. That's pretty much how it should be. If you're enjoying it and you're not hurting anybody, why can anybody say it's wrong? I will stand by that 100% of the time. Let's see. Mondo says, first to admit, I've become a complete collector of VS and Severin. Severin, wow. What I mean is I purchase and rarely ever get the time to watch it. FOMO kicks in and I never find the time. I have, you know what? You bring up a good point. I'm going to shoot this out here. We're going to talk about Vinegar Syndrome and Severin for just a moment. Let's see, what's the best way to phrase this? Vinegar Syndrome has always been about movies shot on film. When they have put stuff out, they have looked better than they've ever looked in their life. A lot of times better than they ever looked in the theater, even. I'm personally noticing that the 4Ks from Vinegar Syndrome this year are looking a little less than stellar. I feel like they are a little bit, I won't say quality dipping as a company, but I feel like the 4Ks are taking a little bit of a quality hit. Has anybody else noticed that this year, or is it just me being cynical? I would love to hear that being checked back to all of you. Let's see. Cam says, always down with the journey of watching a blind buy, rather it's good or bad. Yeah, I completely agree. Sardis, being afraid of buying something unknown is the worst thing you can do. The best part of watching is exploring the unknown. 100%. I understand not everybody's like that, and they really like the comfortability of watching things. But man, discovery is most of the fun for me. Finding a brand new movie that I've never even heard of and I love it, that's incredible. Stan says, I'm a director completist, not a label completist. I can be behind that 100%. There are certain directors I'm trying to get everything from, or certain actors. And man, it's difficult when a lot of those old things have never been released, or they're on some out of print, really crappy DVD. It's tough. John says, discovery is half the fun. Not everything is a home run, but when you get one, how amazing is that? I mean, the home runs are incredible, first of all, but the ones that are even close, yeah, it's always amazing. Ice, is that element reasoning or turnaround time? I mean, it could be either one or it could be neither. It could just be me getting picky, to be honest. But it could be the... I don't know the whole, because they're not super transparent about where their scans are coming from this last year. They're getting bigger licenses. And I don't know if they're doing all of the restorations in-house for these like they used to do. They could be just putting out a lot of the studio scans that they're given for some of these titles because they've gotten so big. Vinegar Syndrome used to all be about restoring the films that they were finding and putting them out themselves. So nowadays, it could be something completely different. The fact that they're putting out things like Beastmaster on 4K is great, but it's kind of difficult. It's kind of difficult to keep that going if you're trying to put out studio films when the studios won't let you restore a lot of their film. So that's difficult. Let's see. I think with, let's see. Oh, wait, I skipped one. Dave says, I agree. Why are you collecting what you're collecting? Because of finances, I'm very choosy regarding my purchases, some boutiques, but equal amount of flea market pickups. I don't get to get out to thrift shops and flea markets and all of that stuff around me, sadly. So most of my stuff is either brand new online or a lot of like Facebook groups. Hell, I just got in a trade today, or a couple days ago, that I still haven't even unwrapped. And it's one that I've been after for a long time, and it's secondhand, and I'm stoked about that. It's not even in perfect condition. So yeah, I'm all about that. Mondo says, I think with VS and Severn, the reason why I don't get the chance to watch them is the fact that I purchased them only during the sales. So when the shipment comes, I have 30 to watch and get overwhelmed. Yeah, I was like that for the longest time until I got caught up. And then being a subscriber, having them come every month is also imposing, especially nowadays when they're putting out, 5 titles a month. And I still want to watch other stuff too. It's important, not necessarily for everybody, but for me, I value being well-rounded in the type of films that I'm watching. So even like my horror watch list for October, I'm kind of already a little tired of horror. I really want some palate cleansers. So I've been watching some other stuff with my kids. I've been trying to catch up on TV shows with my wife too, just to try to get through this whole horror list for the month. And it's tough. Let's see. I think Video Man says, I think Vinegar has the best year ever. Only 4K they did not need to put out was Madman, Thriller, Dead Heat, Amityville, Texas 2, Roadhouse. This is the hard part. I agree with you. I think that this is their best year ever for Vinegar Syndrome. I think that this is the best year of titles they've ever had. I think that they are on a huge incline. I think that they are killing it. I do feel like the quality might be dipping ever so slightly, but I don't know. It's kind of worth it if they're able to put out what they're putting out right now. Stan says, what I love is discovering an acknowledged classic that I'd missed. Just saw Eyes Without a Face last year for the first time. Spectacular. I think, yes, on my watch list, it is here on the 16th of the month, and I still haven't watched it, and I will be watching it. And I've never seen the entire thing, Stan. I've seen the first half or so, and my wife has never seen it at all. So I get to do the exact same thing like you're talking about. GK fan, can I give an example? If we're talking about the Vinegar Syndrome 4K thing, I will say, let's see, where's that list that was just brought up? Madman, Thriller, Dead Heat, Amityville, Texas 2, Roadhouse. Obviously, I haven't seen Texas 2 or Roadhouse yet. This is not all of their 4Ks, though. Let me pull up their site. There's one that I watched recently that really drove this home for me. Sorry, I know this is not great TV to be looking at these. I will say The Incredible Melting Man looked fucking amazing on 4K. I gotta be honest. That one impressed me a lot. Looking for a couple other ones. Let's see. And actually, it might not even just be 4K. It might just be all of the blues as well, that are just sort of less quality than I really hope that they are willing to put out. Miami Connection, the 4K, didn't look that great to me. I gotta be honest. I also hate that movie. And I know that's sacrilege for a lot of people on here, probably. Let's see. Death Wish 2 on 4K looked all right. Flesh Eater on 4K was a good one. Schizoid and X-Ray on 4K. So these are ones I do think they looked good, but I don't think they looked as good as they could have on 4K. So that could be a part of it. Dracula Sucks was a little bit softer than I expected from that one. Good movie, though. I'm glad that I finally got to watch it. Cam says, don't be a gamer with the backlog while collecting physical media with the backlog. That's true. If you want a blind buy, I suggest Women of the Dunes, 1964. No one talks about it. I will be putting that in my note. Women of the Dunes. 1964. Huh. This is taking too long to enter. Woman of the Dunes. That is not how you spell dunes. All right. Gary says, I totally understand collecting an actor's entire catalog can be tough, especially if some of the films have never even made it to DVD, let alone Blu-ray. Very, very true. John, yes, with Vinegar Syndrome, this is my main thing. The partner labels have taken all of my like peak interest, if that makes sense. Like my highest level of interest is all for the partner labels. The Vinegar Syndrome titles are great, but the fact that this year they are really focusing on more sort of mainstream titles, I'd seen a lot of them before, so a lot less discovery for sure. Nice, what a treat. Partner labels are killing me, says Mondo. The SOV stuff is not my thing. Makes sense. Def Crocodile and Fun City are awesome. I think we're at 21 partner labels. And if I had to rank, like, these are my great partner labels, these are good, and then these are that I could pass on. I got to admit, there's like 12 great ones for me. I genuinely think we have an abundance of partner labels doing incredible work, and it's really, really difficult to pin down when they're putting out so many things, for sure. Roadhouse is a movie that has played endlessly on TV for years, completely burned out, and will never need to see it again. That makes sense. I think I will probably have about 2 more watches of Roadhouse in me, and that's it. And of course, I'm going to have it on 4K. Don't know necessarily why. Stiff Competition, 4K Rocked. I haven't watched that one yet, sadly. I said a bad word. I must be having the Ebola. I say all kinds of bad words. Come on. Yes, and Ebola Syndrome was a great scan. It looked incredible. Stan says, on a budget, so I have to limit my purchases accordingly. Have to be more selective. Absolutely. Let's see. Only thing I need everything of is Italian films from the 60s up to the end of the 90s. I buy everything that gets BD or 4K release. Nice. Raro or Raro, however you see it. They got a couple coming out that I'm dying to get, I think. There's that one that is coming out with one of the special features is the what do they call it? There's a featurette on dual screen, or how people one of the directors, they did a lot of the dual screen camera work back then, and I think there's one with the featurette on DeLeo coming out. I need that one too for sure. Cough drop is sticking to my cheek now. Nobody arguing the Vinegar Syndrome thing though. Ryan says, if it's coming from Raro, I would not hold your breath. The problem is Kino is the one doing the distribution, so they don't announce it until Kino has it ready to go. It is Video Man, and it is RARO Video. I've got 1 or 2 I can show. So they are the ones. Can I show this? Any nudity? So this is Fulci's Touch of Death. This is their icon on this side. Raro or Raro Video. And they are now, let's see, do I have any that came out? No, all of my stuff is before they partnered with Kino Lorber. But yeah, now they go almost 100% through Kino Lorber. And Raro used to be tellable. Tellable? I can't speak. Used to be terrible. They would announce something, take pre-orders, and then not ship it for like a year and a half, 2 years. But now that Kino is handling that for them, yes, Video Man, and they are an American company, and Kino Lorber is handling distribution for them, and that means you can usually get their titles at Orbit or Diabolic. So that would probably be the easiest way. And actually, they should be on Amazon too, if you're getting stuff from Amazon over there from here. Live Like a Cop, Die Like a Man is a great release. Amen to that. The Lenzi, do they have a Lenzi collection? I know about these ones. They've got 2 DeLeo collections. Fernando DeLeo, and these got one of these has a really Shoot First, Die Later is a great title in these. And then what volume is this? Does it say? Okay, so volume 1, I believe the best one is the Boss or Caliber 9. But yeah, Shoot First, Die Later in the second collection is great. They have a Lenzi double feature with which titles? I love Lenzi. All right. Yeah, Raro's pretty damn good. With the increase in boutique 4K releases, what makes you say I need that or I'm happy with the blue? That's a good question. It depends on the company putting out the 4K. For the most part, I want the highest picture quality, and considering I call this my museum and library, I kind of want it archived for me and my family with the highest possible quality. If I can still sell the old one, I will try to do that usually, and then try to get the 4K with that. But even then, like, I still have all of my Scream Factory films, even the ones that have upgraded to 4K. I've got, gosh, at this point, probably like 7 or 8 copies of Halloween 2, Halloween 3. I don't need that many copies. Films I love, I'm going to hold on to all of them. Planet Mondo, what are your thoughts on the first release from Air 4444? Just got my package in for Funky Forest, Warp Forest, looking for the November release. So the first release, if I'm remembering right, was Anatomia Extinction. And I don't think it's a great movie, but I think it's a really cool, like, curio piece to put out. I think that because it's a boutique label that was starting out, you need a title like that that's attached to an established director, like that one was, that will get people in the door, basically. And when they see that, oh man, these people put out high quality items, and if they get more money, they'll be able to get better titles. And that's exactly what they've done so far. So yeah, I think we're up to what are we at? Spine 4 and 5, I think. Yeah, I think that they've honestly pretty much killed it so far. Sounds like they are releasing the same titles as 88 Films, have the entire Italian collection of 78 titles. Damn, nice. They have 100 titles coming in the collection. Jeez, that's great. Yes, they did do a few single Lenzi releases, and that could be what they did, is repackage 2 of those together, perhaps. It's not a double feature, it's just Lenzi's Sacrifice. Do I have Sacrifice? I don't. Guess what you just clued me into needing, because I need all of the Lenzi titles. Made my first Instagram account today, and will use it to upgrade my beloved Vikings in Norway with new releases coming. Nice. Very nice. All right. I think I've covered all my recent watches. I will shout out a couple things. Let's see. I will go with one of my favorite podcasts. If you've been watching Discovering Cinema, one of the ones that we did was a faux game of the podcast Screen Drafts, and I got the sticker in, and this shirt. I know it's the same design, but hey, I'll still show it off. And I love this damn podcast. If you've never listened to it, give it a chance. If you are sports minded at all and movie minded, it is the perfect outlet for your artistic passion. Even though you're not going to be able to be participating, they're long episodes sometimes. But basically, what it is, it's a competition generally of 7 titles, and they are essentially doing a draft. One player picks 7, 6, 4, and 2. The other player gets 5, 3, and 1, and they battle it out. And they try to make the most definitive list for the top 7 of a given category. I love that podcast. It has introduced me to a lot of other people. It got me one of my current jobs. I literally produce podcasts for somebody that's on Screen Drafts all the time, and it only happened because of Screen Drafts. So, yeah, Screen Drafts is great. If you find yourself bored and driving, you've already listened to my interviews, go give Screen Drafts a try. One thing I'm excited about that I just recently got in is this Severin box set. And I've not even showed this to my patrons yet. But this box set, The House of Psychotic Women, is one of the most exciting releases of my entire year, I think. Severin has... you know what I said we were going to talk about Severin? Let's talk about that real quick. Severin last year was on my list of best releases by far. I thought that they had one of the top 2 or 3 best 2021s compared to all labels. I feel like Severin has sort of stuttered in 2022, and not necessarily in a bad way. I feel like regrouping is a good thing, but I need some more banger titles like they had last year. It is nice to get the Changeling in 4K. It is nice to get a release like The House of Psychotic Women. It's nice to get the box set of Steckler. It is nice to see those keep coming, but a lot of other things this year that don't shout at me that I need to watch them right now. Anybody else feeling that way about Severin this year, or is everybody thinking that they are still moving in the right direction? John says I need some trash, and I do too. I appreciate that, and I think they got back on track for the cheesy action month that they put out. It just hasn't released yet, so I can't say anything about that yet. Mondo says Severin killed it last year. This year it's been mostly misses for me. I'm all set on a million Franco movies. Oh man, me too. Never need to see those. The box sets have been meh. I agree 100%. Interesting. No, Severin rules. I mean, I agree, but this year has just been a little lackluster, especially compared to last year. They kind of killed it last year. Although caveat, big caveat, the Faux Core box set technically released this year, and that may still be the release of the year, like 100%. I need to check the release date on that so that I can make some of my end of the year list, but everything I've seen out of that box set, I've loved so far. Stan says, I must admit, I'm not very familiar with Severin's output. And if they don't call your name, that makes perfect sense. They've only put out probably a handful of like prestige type titles that a lot of people would love. Oh, Santa Sangre, sorry, on 4K. That was an amazing release. Just wish it came in a hard box. Same. Completely agree. I'm not a big fan of the digipacks like that. I think that's what they're called. Yeah, digipacks. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like they need to have a big November. And from what I've heard when I've already talked to them behind the scenes, Severin sounds like they're going to be having a pretty incredible November. I don't know any titles yet, but the amount of titles coming sounds pretty damn impressive. Have I seen Lake of the Dead from Norway? I have not. On the box set. Is that in this one? No. Oh, from a Faux Core, right? Which one is that? I don't think I got to Lake of the Dead, no. Stan says, how about a 4K release of Thundercrack? I got to be honest, I'd probably buy that one. Lake of the Dead. No, I have not gotten to that one yet, sadly. How do you feel about Lake of the Dead, Video Manon? Faceless 4K is a top tier release. I'm sorry, but I'm going to disagree. I'm not a Franco person, John. I still need to rewatch it. It's been a long time since I saw the German release. Maybe it's great, and I'm just an idiot. I still don't have the 4K, though. Yes. Let's see. It's going to be a Franco November. I don't think it's going to be heavy Franco from what I'm getting from the messages I've read. Maybe one or two big Francos, but that's it. I don't think it's going to be huge. Video Manon loves it, and I love it, and I hate most Norwegian films. Interesting. Very moody film that uses the 50s look and effects perfectly. Very interesting. Brent says, any idea when the MVD rewind sale usually happens? I thought it was around Black Friday last year. If I remember right, I think it's in December. And usually that's just through MVD on the MVDsale.com site. Yeah, usually it's around December, I believe. And they try to capitalize on nobody else having sales around then. So if it's coming, it might come around then. All right. I'm trying to think if I've got anything else interesting to go through. Any other questions? Any questions about the channel? Any questions on the interviews? Anything else I can help with before I call it a night? It's odd not having Flip here, and that makes for a shorter video. And I apologize. It's odd not having somebody to bounce off of for a night like this. Well, all right then, everybody. I appreciate you hanging out. Next Tuesday, like I said, we're gonna have Flip back. It is, it's not anything to worry about for Flip. Like I said, his health is fine. He's just not doing real great personally. Wanted to take a night off. Video Man and says, I hate Norwegian films, but I work on them and I buy every release. I have over 1,000 films from Norway. Damn, very nice. Thanks, Mondo. Appreciate you being here. I always like when you're here live. Please, by all means, come in as much as you can. Like I said, Thursday going to be a real fun show. We're going to be talking about some interesting things, some things that we don't talk about a lot on the channel. Obviously, we're going to do announcements, and I think it's a good thing that we don't have a ton this week. Although now that I say that, I know Eureka's announcing on Thursday or maybe tomorrow. But, Flex, you're saying, what's up, Rise? I'm about to sign out. But yeah, we got some announcements to go over on Thursday. Nothing crazy. Am I buying the first Malumbra films? That is that's the red and white title, right? It's the faux documentary title. I believe that's the one you're talking about. Or wait, no. I'm confusing myself with newer labels now. Let's see. I need to look up which one is Malumbra. Umbra Films. Oh, they're the ones that did the pre-order for the Sex of Angels. Yes, I did. I backed that Kickstarter. I wanted that poster, and I definitely want to see the film. Have they announced anything else? I mean, you say, are am I getting the first Malumbra films? I'd love to know if they have more things announced, because I haven't heard anything. Did A24 announce any other limited editions or just Green Knight? Honestly, they didn't even announce Green Knight. They did an interview with, I think it was Collider, and I believe it was the director just let it be known that they're putting it out in November. So yeah, as far as I'm aware, that's the only one for now. I would not be surprised at all if after Maxine comes out, we get a triple feature of those on 4K probably. Yeah, that's all I've heard of coming up. Green Knight, I believe, was supposed to happen a few months ago and it got delayed for some reason. Stan, you don't like the Green Knight? For anybody that saw the Green Knight and didn't like it, I will beg of you, go back and read the story behind the Green Knight. Not the movie, but the actual story that the Green Knight is based off of. And the movie is great because of that. I agree. Completely agree, Mondo. I really wish they did something for Everything Everywhere. John didn't like how they handled Marcel. What do you mean? Just because it's not a wide release? I mean, if that's the case, yeah, completely agree. I think they should have at least put that out on Blue widely. Kind of odd that they didn't, especially because it's appealing to every crowd. But I need to watch that one in November too. That's certainly on my short list. All right. Do you know if anyone in the USA will be releasing Cannibal Holocaust on 4K? I know about 88 films, but that is censored as far as I know. Yes, as far as I'm aware, I believe Grindhouse Releasing will be putting it out on 4K. I can't remember if that was confirmed yet when they did their press release. But yeah, I'm betting Grindhouse Releasing will do it on 4K. All right, everybody. Get some sleep. Have a good night. We'll see you next Tuesday with Flip. But otherwise, be back on Thursday. We'll hang out. We'll talk. We'll have a good night.